Greetings, Guardians of Dominion. Zeus here with another enlightening video. Today is Faceless Brawls, and it's the perfect moment to take a closer look at this fascinating hero. Faceless is known for his doppelganger skill, which allows him to copy the ultimate abilities of other heroes. On paper, that sounds incredibly powerful. But in practice, there are some important limitations. Not every ultimate can be copied, and even some that can be copied turn out to be ineffective. In this video, we'll explore which heroes Faceless does not synergize well with, which ultimates are not worth copying, and how to avoid wasting his potential during this event. If you're looking to build around Faceless or just want to avoid common mistakes, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Let's begin with one of the most misunderstood aspects of Faceless: he cannot copy another Faceless. If you place Faceless in a one-on-one battle against another Faceless, with no other heroes on the field, neither of them will ever activate their ultimate ability, Doppelganger. The skill won't trigger at all, because Faceless cannot transform into another Faceless. The result? A silent standoff, where both heroes are fully charged but do absolutely nothing with their ultimates. Now, things work a little differently in a full 5 versus 5 battle. If both teams include Faceless and the fight eventually comes down to just the two of them, they still won't copy each other, but they will cast their ultimate. In this case, each Faceless reuses the last ultimate ability they previously copied earlier in the battle. So instead of trying to transform into the enemy Faceless, they simply repeat whatever skill they last duplicated. Now let's talk about Morrigan, another hero whose ultimate Faceless cannot copy. Her ultimate ability, Army of Graven, summons 3 undead skeletons to fight at her side and tank damage in the front row. It's a powerful utility spell, especially in long fights. But here's the catch: Faceless is completely unable to replicate it. Even if Morrigan is the last hero to use an ultimate before Faceless activates Doppelganger, nothing happens. Faceless won't transform into her, and he won't summon skeletons either. It's one of those ultimates that just doesn't trigger any effect when copied. This makes Morrigan a hero with zero synergy with Faceless. Next on the list is Jet. While Jet's ultimate might seem like a good ability to copy at first glance, Faceless completely fails to make it work, and here's why. Jet's ultimate, Elixir of Vigor, channels a healing elixir to the ally with the highest physical attack. But this effect is continuous. Jet spends his energy over time to keep it active. Now here's the problem. When Faceless uses his first skill, he spends all his energy immediately to transform and trigger the copied skill. But Jet's ultimate doesn't work like a burst, it's a channeling ability. Since Faceless has no energy left after transforming, the skill ends instantly and does absolutely nothing. Now let's talk about Astrid and Lucas. Faceless technically can target their ultimate with Doppelganger, but here's the problem: he can't actually use it. The skill depends on Astrid building up rage before it activates, and Faceless has no rage mechanic. So when he transforms into Astrid, there's no rage to trigger the ability, and the whole skill becomes unusable. As a result, Faceless doesn't execute the copied skill at all. If not, he just wastes the energy. Now let's talk about Ishmael. Faceless can copy Ishmael's ultimate, but it's one of the most ineffective outcomes you can get. The skill gives a huge boost to critical hit chance and attack speed, but here's the catch: Faceless is a magic hero, and magic heroes don't land critical hits. So even if he gets the critical boost, it has no effect at all on his damage output. And while the attack speed bonus might sound helpful, it really isn't. Faceless doesn't rely on his basic attacks to deal damage, so speeding them up changes nothing in practice. On top of that, Ishmael's skill is designed to burn energy while in his demonic form, but Faceless doesn't follow that mechanic either. So overall, copying Ishmael's ultimate is a complete waste of Faceless's energy. It's flashy, but it does absolutely nothing for your team. Avoid this pairing if you can. Faceless can also copy Elmir's ultimate, but again, it doesn't really do anything. Elmir's skill moves him to the far line and turns his attacks into ranged attacks, giving him a physical attack bonus while the skill is active. But Faceless is a magic hero. He doesn't benefit from physical attack boosts. So even though the animation plays out, there's no real effect. No added damage, no value to your team, just wasted energy. This is another ultimate you want to avoid copying with Faceless if you're trying to make the most out of his skill. Faceless also cannot copy the Ninja Turtles' ultimate ability. When their skill is activated, the turtles disappear and perform signature moves that are unique to their group dynamic. Faceless can't mimic that sequence, and instead of doing nothing like with Jet or Astrid, something interesting happens. In my tests, when Faceless tries to copy the Ninja Turtles' skill, he actually ends up activating Astaroth's ultimate instead, the last one that was successfully copied earlier in the battle. So if you see Faceless using a completely unrelated skill after copying Ninja Turtles, now you know why. It's not a bug, he just can't replicate their multi-hero mechanic, so he defaults to a previously stored transformation. Faceless can copy Jew's ultimate, but it doesn't do anything useful. Jew becomes enraged, gains a massive attack speed boost, and can't die during the duration. But when Faceless uses the same skill, he doesn't benefit at all. He doesn't deal meaningful basic attack damage, and the Immortality effect doesn't apply to him. It's basically a wasted ultimate, so avoid copying Jew if you want Faceless to be effective. Faceless is able to fully copy Satori's ultimate skill, but it's not effective at all. Satori's damage comes from the foxfire marks he places on enemies, and when he activates his skill, those marks are consumed. So if Faceless tries to copy that ability right after, there are no marks left to trigger damage. The animation plays, but the damage is zero. It looks impressive, but in reality, it's a wasted cast. Faceless cannot copy Mushy and Shroom's ultimate ability because of how the skill is designed. Their first skill creates a physical copy of Shroom with its own stats and behavior, something that relies on a summoning mechanic. Faceless Doppelganger skill does not support summoning mechanics or the creation of independent entities on the battlefield. So when Mushy and Shroom are the last to use an ultimate, Faceless is unable to replicate that action. Instead, he defaults to copying the previous usable skill in the queue, usually from another hero. In short, Faceless can't generate a duplicate Shroom because his skill was never built to copy mechanics that create new units. That wraps up our look at Faceless and the ultimates you should avoid copying. While his doppelganger skill has great potential, not every hero works well with him, and in some cases, copying the wrong skill does absolutely nothing. Be smart with your team choices, avoid wasted energy, and make sure you're not setting Faceless up for failure. If you've noticed other skills that don't work well with Faceless, drop them in the comments and help others avoid the same traps. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you're always ready for the next battle. Master your strategy, outplay your opponents, and as always, salute and friendship.